I'm going to call the meeting to order. Are there any public comments that were for this committee meeting? Ain't nobody. Seeing none, and the public comment is closed. And now we are on to discussing the grant-making software. I guess the changes that we had from the last meeting. And so, if you have yours, I went through it, and if everybody has looked it over, everything that we discussed has been fixed that I can tell. Under eligibility, they deleted the government. Under general information, you weren't here last time, Ronnie.
That's good.
Yeah, we cut the government right out.
That's good.
Under general information, mission statement was changed from 50 characters, from 250 to 50.
Other way around.
Or is that backwards?
Yeah, from 50 to 250.
From 50 to 250, yeah, from 50 to 250. Then back on programs and projects, changed from 1,000 to 750 on the characters under partial funding. Same with service area, 1,500 to 1,250 characters. And if you see something that you have a question about, please stop me, because I just went down and check marked everything that we looked at last week, and then it all matched and versus the changes that we made. The program project design was 5,000. We changed it to 2,500 characters. Project staffing, 1,500 to 1,250. Timeline, 1,500 to 1,250. Leadership and governance, made 1,250 there, 1,250 on staffing. The rest of that was all same as last meeting.
Yes.
Then goal measurement was 1,500 changed to 1,250. Okay, on the financials,
Yes.
they changed the, which we had 4 to 6 months, and changed that to 4 months, just to clean that up. And that's right. And added financial management. The language there, if anybody has a question about that. The attachments are in the packet that Karen sent, which the financial questionnaire, if anybody, I looked it over, and actually what I did too is, if you don't have one, I made 1, 2, 3, I'll just pass these that way. I just went ahead and made some 990s, or printed them off, didn't make them, printed them off just so you could see what those match up to. And I lined the, I don't know how many of y'all need, but I got more. I don't know, is there, yeah, everybody got one? So if you,
See 990?
I've seen it.
I have to.
I'm glad we got the short form.
Oh, thank you.
so I just printed off a 990, and then on page, 2 of the questionnaire under revenue, I made a little note for you. It's on page 9 of the form, just so you would be familiar with it for what it's worth.
Yeah, we asked for a 990, let's see here. If you do not, wait, yeah, we asked for the 990 as an attachment. Got it. But they still have to fill out the financial questionnaire, which condenses that down to something we can digest.
Yes, and that is that is also in your packet. But I don't know, I just went ahead and did that this morning for whatever it's worth too, so you could see where those are on that form. And Karen, if you've got anything you want to add or say about any of that part of the questionnaire, that's fine. I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah, so just want to make sure that it kind of meets your needs. We talked about trying to develop something that kind of created some additional financial information, but in a way that was easy for them to complete and provides the information that you guys need to make a good decision. And then the revenue and disbursement portion actually kind of mirrors what the strategic partnerships had asked for, and also what the county asked for in kind of a financial statement as well. So that's kind of where I've got those line items from.
And kind of like we've discussed before, it's this first one, it'll be a work in progress. If we figure out we don't need some of this stuff or we need more, we'll figure it out next round. But I think it does give you enough information to make some decisions. Has anybody got any questions about the questionnaire? And then the project budget template is this, which is just, everybody got it? Pretty self-explanatory, just, it's simple. It should be simple enough that we're not dealing with 50 pages of stuff.
Yeah, and this is a pretty standard format.
So that's that. Then the next is the evaluation. And on that, and I texted Karen about on page 1, the scoring, I don't know, I'm not very smart, and I didn't make good grades in school, but it was a little confusing. So I just made a simple one, and this for what it's worth, y'all just see what you think. Oh, I need one of those back. To see if you think this is, if this says what we're trying to say. And I don't know right or wrong, but I just...
Everybody get one?
Do you see what I'm saying about that? I just kind of did it simple, if that's...
Okay.
But I don't know.
We still have a little bit of time to kind of tweak the evaluation form, because that won't come into play until after October. So it's not quite as critical for you guys to make any kind of final decisions on that piece just yet. But we can certainly, solidify it if you guys want to do it now, or we can wait. And
it can stay there like it is. I just thought I was just trying to make it simple. And I made it too simple.
Looks good to me.
But I just didn't know when I looked at that, Karen, if it was something that had to get posted and people were trying to figure out what that meant.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
that's all internal.
That's all for us.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Good.
Yeah.
'Cause if it was for them, if they knew, yeah, okay, I'm
Yeah.
with you. Yeah.
A little bit. As we grade all this ourselves, do we have access to the other reviewers?
Yes, I can set it
score?
up that way, so you
Okay.
can see their comments or their scores.
Okay.
And I can do it anonymously, so you don't know who's saying what, or I can do it where you would know who's saying what. So if you have a preference, you can let me know.
I like anonymous.
Okay.
I'm a little concerned about doing that in keeping everything above board with the open records. Those are technically communications between committee members at that point.
within the system.
We need to talk about that. I'm not sure that that's something that we can facilitate in a way that won't violate that state law.
Okay, gotcha. So we may have to turn that off,
Yeah.
not, and do that. Okay.
Okay, so that's, page 1, page 2, the project design, and we're under the evaluation. Project design and description was added there to clean up the well-written verbiage. So that was, page 3, all good. Page 4 was the same, and it was exactly like we
As we discussed.
Then on to the guidance. The, government, again, was deleted, and the 12 months was added. And we cleaned up the review criteria deal where we had the percentages listed and got rid of that and added the review criteria right there on the last page. Any questions about that? Any at all?
Only slightly related to the question at hand, the application period is the month of October.
Yes,
And so I assume the deadline is October 31st.
yes.
What is our schedule for reviewing when we get to that?
End of November through January,
Okay.
or mid-November through January.
So when we get to that stage, and I don't really have a thought either way, but if, say, Ronnie is on a board for one of the programs that applies for a grant, how do we handle that?
So you wouldn't score it. I can look to see if there's a mechanism to recuse yourself from a certain application or how that would be handled in the system. It may just be an internal that you just don't score it, and we just note that the reason you didn't score it was because of a conflict of interest.
I mean, I'm not saying that we can't be mature enough to evaluate whether it's fair or not if we're board members, but I think it needs to be decided if that's okay, or board members or past board members kind of real tie. I don't know. We're all affiliated with lots of things.
Yeah.
So one of the things, if you want to, what could happen is when the application closes October 31st, we'll have a list of all the applicants. We can provide that just the list to you, and then you can identify if you have any conflicts and then recuse yourself through that process. And I don't know if that needs to be done in a meeting or how that needs to be done to.
So if we decide in January, right? Our
Yes,
final-
but your decision needs to go to the Board of Trustees by the 15th of February.
Okay, so January.
Yeah,
February.
yeah.
And then when will the agencies be notified?
So the agencies won't be officially notified until the council makes their final approval. So the Board of Trustees has to approve your recommendation, and then they send it up to council. So we're anticipating that it will probably be towards the end of March before all that is public.
And money will be distributed or dispersed in?
In July, because it'll be in the new fiscal year, so the money actually won't get into the hands of the nonprofits till
I
then.
know it came out this week or last week because I was with someone that's on the board of Journey Home, and their director notified them. It's
Yes.
on the website, and
So we sent out through Charity Tracker, which is done through United Way, and there's over 100 nonprofits that are on Charity Tracker, an announcement to let them know that we are doing a training this coming Friday. It's going to be a Zoom training, and so we sent out the information to let them know that if they were interested, and then also to notify them that the application dates was going to, the application was going to open up October 1st. We also have a press release that we're finalizing today, and that should go out either tonight or tomorrow as well.
We can email that to you also, so that if you have any direct contacts, you can forward to any and all.
Thank you.
We do.
Do we need to take a vote on the final draft here?
Yes.
Okay. And
Carl, I have just one question. Looking at the ineligible expenses, I thought somewhere we said the brick and mortar projects would be considered ineligible for this. So page 2, I mean, and again, that may be covered, but, you know, if I've been inundated with phone calls, it's about brick and mortar, and I keep saying that's not what we're focusing on, but the community has a misperception created by themselves, I would say, but it's not listed here as,
It has capital campaigns, but we can specify, I can add in parentheses to that, bricks and
I'm on page 2, ineligible expenses
of the application
and
guidelines.
guidelines.
I love that,
Page 2.
guidelines.
So small,
Yeah.
What's that?
the amount will be so small for these grants that it's not going to be in the time for it period that the project needs to be completed.
Sure.
You know, a $15,000 grant for your $10,000 capital campaign is going to create a lot of paperwork on both sides.
Sure, absolutely. But I think if somebody was received these guidelines, and that's clearly stated that we're not considering brick and mortar, that they would, you know, at least go down a different avenue.
Yeah. Do you want me just to add bricks and mortar? In
By the capital
parentheses?
campaign, I think that might be helpful, if there's no objection to that.
So we would say capital campaigns, comma, including improvements to physical facilities.
Or, yeah, but not just improvement, but, well, I guess, if you know, one,
Improvements or construction of
Yes,
physical facilities. Okay.
So can I just play devil's advocate a little bit? You know, say that there was a facility that needed to spend $15,000 for a new heat and air system. Would you consider that not eligible because it kind of fits into that category? Or really what you're trying to define is that you're not developing large infrastructure projects?
Or new construction?
No.
yeah, I would, you know, playing devil's advocate back, I'd be very concerned if someone says, our AC unit's down, and I'm thinking, then how did that happen? You know, if I'm paying for a new AC unit, then that's somewhere they haven't been keeping up with the maintenance of their own building.
AC's burnout.
Sure they do, but again, I don't think it's our responsibility to take care of their physical plant. Having worked with a shelter that no longer exists, they were constantly having issues with their building. But that wasn't anybody's fault except for the nonprofit keeping up with those things.
But I'm like, Collier, they just wear out, like carpet and all that stuff, like it's stepping stones, all that has to be replaced.
Major
The
construction,
amount of money will dictate a lot of that too.
right?
That's what she says. Okay, so why don't we say capital campaigns, including construction?
Or
So that leaves open the potential.
like significant construction or major construction.
Okay.
So what did we decide? I didn't hear you.
Capital campaigns, including major construction projects.
Because, Journey Home's getting ready to do a big capital campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're going to be the ones that define what major construction is. Yeah, that's fine. So that appears to me to be the only change that we're making.
John, as an example, though, replacing a worn-out air conditioner on our grading system that we've just it's going to score very poorly on that.
For me,
So we'll know.
you will know.
Yeah, that's
John is anti-air conditioning.
One.
Put that one.
One.
Wonder who?
That's exactly right.
That's right. He's against being comfortable.
So, if that's the only change, we need somebody to make a motion with approving with whatever changes we're doing.
So moved.
Second.
You understand? Any discussion? Everybody understand that that's the thing that we're adding under, after capital campaign is no major construction. Call the roll.
Mr. Hinkle?
Aye.
Ms. Lynn?
Aye.
Mr. Lynch?
Aye.
Mr. Martin?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Montgomery?
Aye. Is there any other business? I can run a meeting pretty quick.
Oh, man.
She can.
Can we borrow you for other meetings?
Yes.
I like it after my fifth.
Great decision.
Thursday nights, huh?
Glad you went through all that.
Next meeting's October 17th.
Next meeting, Tuesday, October 17th, 1 PM, which is a training session, as I have in my calendar.
Yes.
Bring your laptops.
Bring your laptops.
Advertise that one to change it to 1:30 per request.
That's fine.
What day is the 17th?
It's a Tuesday, and it's here, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So we're changing it to 1:30 on the 17th. Training session, bring your laptop. If there's no other business, let's adjourn.